People of YouTube, thank you so much for checking out my channel today. I'm your host, not Eddie Van Halen. But if you can't tell, this video is all about Van Halen. When I was younger and just getting into guitar playing, I was obsessed with all things Van Halen. Not just Van, but Halen too. If you don't know me personally, I'm gonna fill you in on a little secret. I was raised on not rock music. I was raised on primarily three things: 90s country, Southern gospel, and just a little bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I had no idea this stuff existed. I really didn't. And in my house, we always had the radio on, but it was just, it was just like 90s country.
Got a little crazy, but we never got caught.
And I know this makes me sound like a dinosaur, but when I was younger, YouTube was barely a thing. So you couldn't get online and just look up anything you wanted. And also, there wasn't even Wi-Fi. That wasn't even a thing. It was like 100 years ago. It's crazy. But you had this thing called dial-up. And you would plug your thing. I don't even know why I'm doing this, because I don't even know what it's shaped like. It just existed. I don't know. But I remember being in 8th grade when a buddy of mine came up and asked me if I'd ever heard of AC/DC. And I had not. I didn't even know what that was. And he told me I should go buy something of theirs. So that day, when my dad picked me up from middle school, he took me to Walmart and I bought the Back in Black album. And it changed my life. I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know. Soon after that, I started scanning the local radio stations and I found a classic rock station. So all of this music was new to me. So I would come home from school and I would just lay on my bed and turn the radio on and just soak up all this. It was old, but it was new music to me. And then one day they played Eruption by Van Halen. And I remember my mind, it was blown when I first heard AC/DC, and then it was blown again and even more when I heard Eruption. And if you don't know what Eruption is, you should go listen to it. I would play it for you, but I can't. I'm not Eddie Van Halen. Why did I say that weird? And that's when it all started. My obsession with Van Halen. Not just the band, but specifically Eddie Van Halen. I was so obsessed that I started buying t-shirts that were striped up like Eddie's guitars. And I would wear them to school. It probably wasn't the cool thing to do, but whatever. Before I knew it, I wanted everything to have the stripes on it. So I asked my dad to take me to Walmart one day. I bought a canvas. So we had the canvas, we taped it up, and then we started painting it. Just like this. This is the exact canvas. Incredible. I know. Look at this. Then a little time passes. I'm in high school. I'm still obsessed with Van Halen. And I'm in art class. We had to make some kind of paper mache type thing. And so I make this. This is a duck. Colored like Van Halen. What is wrong with me? I'm obsessed. It even says Van right here, and on the butt, it says Halen. Can't probably see it, but it's there. And it has the 5150, as you can probably see on that guitar as well, 5150. And I made a B+ on this. I thought it was pretty good. It's a two-legged duck, like most ducks. The legs are a little weird. They're not side by side. They're in a straight line. So a little further in high school, I had some money from a job and I wanted to buy a guitar that was painted like Eddie's. I didn't really know if I could do it myself. In fact, I took an idea, the red, white, and black, and I actually created something else. This was the very first guitar I ever sort of built. I put it together from a bunch of scraps. But it is red, white, and it has black. I didn't know how to do the stripes at the time, not on a guitar. I could do it on a canvas, but I was scared to do it on a guitar. So I got a little further along in high school, had some money from a job. I wanted a guitar that actually looked like Eddie's, because at the time, I was still trying to be Eddie, And that was before I started developing my own style, which we all should. Don't try to be someone else, be yourself. So I got to searching, and I found one on eBay, this guitar. And it was in my price range. There was a story that came along with it, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't care. I read it, but it didn't mean anything to me. So I bought it, and I've had it ever since. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this. Uh-oh, You know what that sound means? 13 seconds of backstory. Eddie Van Halen, known for his dive bombs and fast picking and two-finger tapping, started playing Kramer guitars in 1983. He would play them all the way up until around 91. He was also, whoops, that's all the time we have. So there's actually not a lot known about this guitar, at least not to the masses, and there's actually not a lot about it on the internet either. From what I can gather, in '87, ESP started making the parts for Kramer guitars. The bodies, the necks, all that kind of stuff. So they were pretty much the sole supplier for the raw materials. They would send that to Kramer here in the States and they would put it together. ESP is based overseas. So around 1989, ESP started making these guitars. And that would continue until around 93. They came out with a few different models. The one that's based on the white and black one, the white and black stripe that Eddie used to play, the Franken strap that's all kind of beat up and there's, you know, like a quarter nailed to it and all sorts of stuff. And then they made this one, the 5150 model. And this one is obviously based on the old Kramer style, right? And one of the big differences is Kramer used to be right here on this white stripe, the name Kramer, okay? But in '89 through mid-90-ish, these guitars that were made in that time period actually had Kramer, even though it was made by ESP, Kramer was on the white stripe right there. And then that changed. And then they left it blank, and they would put it on the back here, produced by ESP. And that became a thing from mid-90-ish all the way until the end of the run in '93. So the story that I got from the guy that I bought it from on eBay years and years ago is the same story I read about online now. So they were only offered in Japan and surrounding countries. They weren't offered from ESP in the States. And that was primarily, from what I can gather, it was primarily because Eddie was playing Kramer guitars. He wasn't playing ESP guitars. And it wasn't widely known that Kramer was just getting their parts from ESP. So they were only able to offer this overseas. So the guy I bought this from, he was actually stationed in Japan in the military. And then he came back years later after getting out of the military. He had bought this, brought it back with him, needed money, and I was the lucky one that got to buy it. I've looked all over for these guitars, and there are just not many of them out there. And at least not many of them for sale or many people talking about them on the forums and such. A few features, it actually does have a true Floyd Rose on it. It's an older system. It's not a floating style that a lot of them now have where it's cut out back here and it can actually float. This can't go up at all. It can only go down. But I've seen other videos of actual Kramers that Eddie used to play, and they were that way. They were blocked and they from the wood here, and then they could only go down, right? So it does have a true Floyd Rose. It has a Seymour Duncan pickup. It has one unique feature here is this black stripe here is right where you plug it in. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that's just the way it happened to be, but it comes in handy because when you look down, you're trying to find where to plug it in. You just got to find the black stripe and it's right there. It also has these, well, they're not strap buttons. I don't know what they are. They're hooks, but they're put in there just like Eddie's old Kramers. Well, that's about all the time we have today for this episode of What Is That? ESP trying to look like a Kramer guitar that... What?
That's not what we talked about.
That's not what this title is?
That's not
No.
what this
Oh, okay. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. And you know the drill. Go ahead and give the video a like if you don't mind. It's free. And there's so many reasons, you know, if you liked the guitar playing at the beginning, if you like the history lesson, the setting, the guitar itself, this jacket, I don't know. There's so many reasons why you could like a video. And even if you don't like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. It's fine. It's fine. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, or if you know more about this guitar than I do, leave all that stuff in the comments. And if you'd like to learn any of the stuff that I played at the beginning, be sure and put that in the comments too, because I'll make a video about that if you want it. And as always, stay tuned for next time. took my dad outside. Good God. And we created this canvas. Perfect execution. No, I was so upset.